Hi everyone, it's Jackie here at Best Assess. Welcome to the overview for the Phonological Awareness Assessment PDF. So I'm just going to talk you through the structure of the assessment. There is one part which is the individual student profile, and this includes the template or the page of visual prompts that the students will be looking at during the assessment. And then it also includes the resources that are there for the teacher, which include the script and the marking rubrics that you might be using for each. We've done a front cover here for the individual student profile, so you can actually write the student's name at the front. The second part is the whole class data profile, where you can collate the whole class data so you have a really clear snapshot of the student's strengths and needs. You can refer to this quickly during planning so that you can plan out your whole class focuses and also your small group focuses too. Over here on the contents page, on the left-hand side, we have the phonological awareness progression, which is derived from the Australian curriculum. In the middle column, we've got the resources for the student to use, and on the right-hand side are all of the pages that you as the teacher can refer to. We've broken the resource down into each part of the progression. So you will see that the first page segments a short spoken sentence into each word, and you'll notice that that aligns with the first part of the progression in the contents table. So here we have the page that the student would be looking at during the assessment, and here is the script for you as the teacher. Now, in the beginning, we always have a teacher model and student practice, just so the students feel comfortable and they know exactly what it is that they're required to do. We follow the gradual release model, which is where the teacher models, I do, then you do it with the student, we do, and then of course you give the student the opportunity to have a go independently, which is you do. Okay, then comes the individual student data profile rubric. So you will notice that there's a mix of rubrics and checklists throughout. Then we move on to the next part of the progression. So here it's just a visual prompt for the students. That's just reminding them that they're counting syllables or clapping syllables in words. Here is the script for teachers. And again, this is a checklist because, students can either correctly segment it or they can't. You'll also notice that there's the key notes here. So if you notice a student doing something that you think is really important, write it down. It might be about their attitudes to learning, learning dispositions or learning habits, or something that they're actually saying to you. This is really valuable data. So we always have a note section on the individual data profiles. So you'll notice that it's the same structure. It follows the same structure the whole way through: the student resource, script for teachers, and the rubric or checklist before moving on to the next progression point. So I'll just flick through the rest and you'll notice the pattern. It's quite a long one, this one. There's a lot to phonological and phonemic awareness. Okay, and then we come to the whole class data profile. You will only need to print one copy as it will contain everybody in the class. So you could write your class name in the rectangle here. And here are the whole class data sheets. Now, you might choose to insert the data straight into the whole class data profiles instead of the individual student data profiles if you're pressed for time. That's fine. Just keep in mind that the individual student data profiles do have room for a bit more information, whereas these are going to be a bit more of a overall snapshot. It's up to you and whatever's going to work best for you though. You'll notice here that there's room to write whether it's a pre-assessment or a post-assessment. So that's going to help you measure growth and evaluate your practice as well. There is a whole class data profile for every single part of the progression, just like there is with the individual student data profiles. And finally, we come to the phonological awareness and goals template. Once you have your whole class mapped out on the whole class data profile, or even in their individual ones, you can then come and put their name against the part of the progression where they are achieving 50% of the assessment correct and 50% incorrect, or thereabouts. This really indicates that it's the optimal point of intervention for their learning, and it becomes their optimal goal as well. You might not get exactly 50-50, but as close to that as possible does suggest the optimal point of intervention as per the zone of proximal development. That's it for now. If you have any other questions or you'd like to find out any more information, have a look at some of the videos below or type in a question in the comments. Thanks, everybody.